What's poppin'? What's tea? It's your girl Spicy Niche, and by the title, you already know why I'm here. Now, if you've been watching my previous videos, I be coming to y'all raw, barefaced, clear skin, but because I know I'm probably going to say some things that could get me dragged, I had to get myself together today. So let's get into it. Ebuka Takes Africa. Ebuka Takes Africa is about him taking all his friends, Timini, Onaja, Alistair, Jimmy, Zubi, on a trip throughout Africa. Now, the first place they stop is Rwanda, and y'all know I was just there in December. So I was super excited when I saw that because I wanted to see where they went that I didn't go. But let's backtrack. First of all, just from the intro of this show, my friend literally just walked in here to say that she's pretty sure those cars were rented. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think some of those people own those cars. I think it may just be for the TV of it, but you know, that's neither here nor there. So after they waste our time doing these long intros showing all these cars that some of them probably don't even own, no shade, we finally get all the boys together, and you know, that's when it becomes Jimmy versus Timony. And I feel like it's funny that within the first 20 minutes somebody has already thrown shade, because people always like saying, oh, boys can get together and do their own thing and it's women that always have problems, but Jimmy has proven that wrong. And then it was Timony and Alistair who were shocked that Zubi was there, and I was too, because I've never really fully watched a film that Zubi has been in. I know he's very popular in the Igbo film industry. So apart from Timony, I will say I have a little bit of familiarity with him. Other than that, I don't know any of the other guys from anywhere. But again, I'm not Nigerian, so. But yeah, like, I don't know, he always give me very deep uncle vibes. And I was kind of like, you look like you're the oldest person on this trip, although that may not be true. Just like based on what I've seen, it gives very heavy like uncle vibes. So even I was like, okay, Zubi, okay, I mean, I guess. So they go to Rwanda, and you know, they're taking in all the sights. Rwanda is very beautiful, a lot of mountains, a lot of views, like, oh, it's just phenomenal. So they're taking all that in. The villa is beautiful. So back to the Jimmy versus Timony thing. So basically Jimmy is mad that Timony was supposed to be a groomsman in his wedding and wasn't a groomsman in his wedding. So he basically made a joke about how Timony never misses, but he missed his wedding. Okay, I mean, I guess. Ebuka gets all the guys gifts, and I thought that was really sweet and thoughtful. Like, I feel like Ebuka is my kind of host, because this is how I host people. Like, I'm even trying to have an event in like a week where I just like do like a little raffle where everybody gets gifts. So I'm like, okay, host Ebuka, like me and you, we're on the same page. And then Timony jumps in and was like, I think he's like, oh, I just got back from Dubai, so I got all the guys gifts. And I'm like, are you trying to upstage Ebuka? Like, what's going on? Like, but I mean, I thought it was nice though, like that Timony also came on the trip with gifts, but it just kind of felt like you just like, I don't know. And this is where I'm kind of like wondering, is this show scripted? Because it's like, it's very convenient how Ebuka gathered all the guys around to give gifts, and Timony just so happened to also have his gifts on him at that particular moment. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been a thing where it was like, oh, I also have gifts for you guys, let me go get it. Or I don't know if they just cut that part out, but it just seemed very convenient how Timony's gifts were already like right beside him as soon as Ebuka is getting or giving his gifts to the guys. Question mark. Then again, we've not even gone too far into the episode. It's Timony versus Zubi, and Timony is like, oh, he's the biggest star in Africa. And I think from what I recall, I don't think Zubi said anything. I think it was Ebuka or somebody who like, oh, Zubi, you just gonna let him say that? And that's when Timony gets in his bag and is like, oh, I'm the most bankable actor in Africa. He was like, Zubi, when I see your scripts, I don't even want to do your films. First of all, if we really want to be so for real, I feel like Zubi is more of an OG in this like whole thing. And although I may not watch his films, I know that like he is been around, you know, whereby as Timini, I feel like Timini, you need to thank Dakore, because Dakore is an OG and she's your sister. So like it's different. I feel like you kind of had a leg up in this industry having your sister be an OG Nollywood baddie compared to Zubi, who just like who came up on his own, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, if we really want to talk about cinema, yeah, we can give it to Timony, but even though I don't watch Zubi's movies, as far as global reach, I would give it to Zubi as far as who is quote unquote bigger. Like Timony, you may be big right now because, or over the past, I want to say 5 years, but you know, like your I want to say, what do I want to say? Your resume, I don't feel like is as long as Zubi's. Yes, you've won the accolades and everything. Nobody's taking that away from you. But also look at like where you're coming from. Like your sister is like the biggest Nollywood star, OG Nollywood star with them Genevieve and Ini Edu. Like, come on now, come on. When we talk about the biggest stars in Africa, I think Aki and Popo, we can wholeheartedly agree, are the biggest international stars or male stars in Africa. Because I'm like, I really think about Timini, I only heard about Timini when he was in Skinny Girl. I feel like that was his breakthrough role, and Skinny Girl is not 11 years old. So I'm like, Timini, like, who are you like capping to about having this like big career? Like I said previously, like you've done a lot within this timeline that you've had. You've gotten the accolades, you've gotten the awards, but you've not been in the game for that long. And again, like having your sister as the OG Nollywood baddie has really put you in rooms that you probably may have not even belonged in. Let's just be honest. So yeah, I honestly feel like Timini is not bigger than Kemukwa or Sophia. You're not bigger than Aki and Popo. So what criteria are you using to say that you're the biggest? Then Timini says that you Igbo people, you be borrowing each other's cars. Like, Timini, like this is what I be saying. Like, if you watch my Skinny Girl review, I said this in my Skinny Girl review. I feel like Timini's real life has really like taken over his movie life, to where like I find it very difficult to find him like likable or believe him when he's playing these roles. And that's why I just feel like, you know, he did an amazing job in Elevator Baby, I believe that's what it was called. But like when I see him in Skinny Girl, it's like I can't believe this, because online you live this bad boy rock star, oh I get all the girls lifestyle. So I can't believe this meek Muhammad that you try to play in Skinny Girl. Anyways, later on they go for this Egypt versus Rwanda basketball game, and I'm like, oh my days, I wish this was going on when I was in Rwanda. Like, this is the type of thing that I would like to go to. And you know, at first Zubi didn't want to go, but when he gets there, he's having the time of his life. And here goes Timini again saying, oh, Zubi is just so local, he don't like to try new things. Now he's coming here and he's shouting and carrying on. And then after the game, people kept recognizing Zubi, and you know, a few people recognized Timini, but most of the people were recognizing Zubi. And I forgot who said it and was like, oh, Timini, I thought you was the biggest star in Africa. What happened? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like Zubi has been in the game a lot longer, to where like his reach is more international. Like, let's just be so honest. Then Timini said something again. He said Onaja is the weakest link because he has way too much confidence for like a short guy. Like, Timini is always throwing jabs. I'm just like, is this like, this is Ebuka takes Africa. This is not Timini takes Africa. Like, Jesus, every time, like, what small bed? What's going on? But moving on, this is another point where I say is the show scripted? Because on one front, we see Timini and Onaja having a conversation about the whole wedding issue. And then on the other side, I think it was, I can't even remember, but it was Jimmy and either Alistair or Zuby, I can't even remember right now, having the conversation, and the camera is panning to the rooftop and also panning to the pool. So it just so happened that the two of them are having this conversation at the exact same time. Like, already the show is turning me off because it's giving a script, like it's giving Real Housewives of Vegas, except for just the boys. Like, at this point, so I was already like, okay, first episode was cute, but it just seems a little bit too scripted and too mechanical for me. But that was pretty much everything that happened in episode 1 of Ebuka Takes Africa. Yeah, and those were just my thoughts on all the things that they were happening in that first episode. So, I mean, let's move on to episode 2. So in episode 2, they go race car driving. I was jealous. I was like, I wish I knew about this when I was in Rwanda, but it's cool. This was really like the only time I see all the guys like vibing with each other. And then I feel like, is it just me? Jimmy's always flirting with somebody. Like, Jimmy's always flirting. Like, I always like saying something. Like, I think he made a comment about the race car lady, like always saying something, and I'm like, you're freaking married. And Ebuka, I feel like, has to keep reeling him in, like, guy, you didn't you just get married? Like, what are you doing? Like, and it's actually kind of annoying me at this point. But anyways, yeah, all the guys didn't get to race, but it was a good thing to see all the guys kind of come together with no drama. So then they do this nice little intro of them at this restaurant. You know, your girl been there. You know. That restaurant in particular was like the most lit place in Rwanda, for real. Like, at the time that they were there, it looked empty. I don't know whether they cleared the restaurant out for them. But, you know, while I was in Rwanda, me and my friend Akenji, shout out Akenji, we had the opportunity to meet the owner, and he was really, really nice. Like, it's a lot of like foreign people, like people not from Africa that come to Africa and like have these amazing businesses, and it was just really nice to meet him, and he's really a nice guy. And the restaurant was lit. You know, I went there 2 days back to back. So it's a nice place to be, but obviously I think they may have cleared out the restaurant for them, especially with all the cameras around, like, so it makes sense why it was looking kind of dry. Okay, so we get to this restaurant, and Anuja asks Alistair, I believe, like, oh, wouldn't you be mad if I didn't come to your wedding? And Alistair's like, yeah, I will be mad. And Jimmy is throwing a hissy fit, like, oh, why is he bringing this up? And Timothy then says something. He's like, at the end of the day, like, y'all know part of the story. And I don't really like how Jimmy is painting the situation to be. And that's when Timothy discloses how Jimmy called him and it's like, what the F, bro, just go and do this thing, it doesn't take that long. Brrr. And I'm like, oh, so this is how you was talking to Timothy, hence why he didn't come to your wedding. So I mean, that's when Jimmy decides that he wants to take the conversation like to the side. But I'm like, up until now, Jimmy, you had no problem discussing this issue amongst the group. Now, all of a sudden, when Timothy has exposed you, you want to have the conversation to the side? Make it make sense. Like, you really try to paint Timothy to be this bad guy, but you didn't mention your part in the situation. But anyways, they have a conversation. And I also feel like both parties were wrong. Like, first of all, Jimmy should have never talked to Timothy that way. But if Timothy had an issue, you should have addressed the issue then and there. Like, maybe not that day, but you should have called him and been like, yo, bro, like, don't ever talk to me like that. Like, at the end of the day, I'm technically, when you are in somebody's wedding, you are doing them a favor. It's not by force. It's not by force. You're not the first to marry. You're not the first. So it's just like, if he's using his hard-earned money to buy, you know, all these things for your wedding, he is doing you a favor. Like, let's just be honest. He could use his money to do something else. So for you to call him like he's your child and be cursing at him and be talking to him crazy, it's like, what are you doing? But like I said, I do feel like if Timothy had an issue, he should have addressed it as opposed to just like completely not showing up. And then showing up to the wedding to pick somebody up. Like, you're weird for that. I would have just never shown my face at all. Told him I'm busy, and I would have never like been anywhere near the premises. But for you to come to the wedding to pick somebody up is weird. But anyways, they both apologized to each other and we move on. So then Alistair and Ebuka are going to Lake Kivu via helicopter. Like, I was supposed to go to Lake Kivu, but the bus ride to Lake Kivu was so long, and first of all, the plane ride to Rwanda was mad long. Like, bruh, I was like, I cannot enter bus for that long. But then the guys, they took a helicopter because, like he said, it is the fastest way to get to Lake Kivu. But the way people be dying in helicopter, like, I don't mess with helicopters at all. And then even Ebuka was talking to Alistair, how one of their friends was a pilot and actually died via helicopter. So it was really probably like a really out of body experience for them to have to just be in a helicopter and like remember their friend and stuff like that. So, and I really, one thing I will say about this Ebuka and Alistair trip is that I really feel like it gave a certain level of vulnerability to the cast, because grief is not easy. And then even Ebuka opening up about how, you know, his wife had lost her mother, but he couldn't be there because he had to travel for work. It just, I feel like honestly it made me really appreciate Ebuka and really made me gain a new understanding for Alistair as well. And like Alistair said, like, grief is something that never goes away. Like, it just never goes away. It doesn't matter how many years have passed. Like, it's just something that is always with you. Like, even for me, we're coming up on 1 year this Thursday of my grandmother's passing, and it still doesn't even feel real to me. And it's something that I deal with like day by day. Like, it comes in it comes in waves. Like, I think one of them said it just comes in waves. Like, one day you just burst out crying and you just don't even know what, like, where it came from. Like, it's really an ongoing process, and healing is something that, like, I don't know, I don't even know that I'll ever really heal. It just added a level of vulnerability to this whole thing, and really like a human element, because all this whole time they've just been beefing about stupid stuff. And I really wish people would realize that life is too short to be beefing about who wasn't at your wedding. Like, honestly, I'm just at a point where, you know, life is too short to be beefing about the petty stuff. Like, today is not promised to nobody. So I'm like, listen, if you had an issue with somebody, sort it out today, especially if you're saying that y'all have been bros, like y'all be in the same circles. Like, let's just dead it and move on. But of course, Jimmy and his pettiness could not let it go. We get to the golf course, and he decides to, I guess, clock Onoja, talking about, why did you bring it up, blah, 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 blah. And then Onoja, to me, is like my favorite out of everybody, apart from Ebuka, the host. You know, Ebuka just does his thing. He's unproblematic. But from all the rest of the guys, I feel like Onoja is my favorite, because I just feel like he's just here for the vibes. He's just here for the vibes, you know? And I feel like he's probably one of those people, from my observation of this scene, who doesn't really deal with confrontation well, because he kind of just stepped back, and Zubi was the one who kind of stepped in and stood up for him. And Zubi was right. Like, you made the matter public when you called it out publicly. So if you don't want other people's opinion and it's your private life, don't bring it up publicly. And this man Jimmy is like arguing with Zubi. Now it's Zubi versus Jimmy. Like, it's always something with you, Jimmy. Like, why do you always, I feel like Jimmy is an attention seeker, or I don't know if they're doing this to add an extra layer of what's the word, drama to the show. But I feel like it's way too early for you to be acting like a sissy. Like, grow up. I feel like at a certain age in your life, you need to stop allowing people to get reactions out of you for stuff that is like really not that deep. Like, I feel like even as I've gotten older, because I used to be a little bit of a hothead, like it takes a lot for you to get a reaction out of me. Like, I don't let people control my anger or my attitude by just doing one little thing. And then it's like you getting out of character and then telling Zubi that what did he even say to Zubi? Twisting Zubi's words, because he's like, Zubi, oh, you think I have anger issues, blah, 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 blah. And Zubi's like, I never said you have anger issues. Like, it's just like, it's too much. I'm not a fan of Jimmy. Like, he's too much of a sissy for me. Like, this man, I'm telling you, gotta be a Pisces or a Virgo, because that's how Pisces and Virgo men act. so sensitive. Like, what is going, like, I'm sorry, as a woman, like, I would not be able to deal with Jimmy. Like, he's too feminine for me. Like, any small thing, you're just up in arms. Like, calm down, bro. Go take a chill pill. And that's why Timony and Onoja left. Timony was getting irritated because it's like Jimmy, you've been trying to be the center of attention this entire trip. Every time it's you with your drama. Just annoying. Moving forward, Jimmy does leave the guys to go meet with Alistair and Ebuka, and they go to a coffee farm, which is something I really wish I had the time to do in Rwanda. Child, it was a lot. It would be taking me a lot to get out of bed in Rwanda after a night out. Oh my gosh, like my head would be just banging. I just didn't get the chance to do it. But Lake Kivu, I wish I would have done. The coffee farm, I wish I would have done. But I didn't know that, like, Rwanda is known for coffee, for those who don't know. Big coffee market. I didn't know it takes 4 years to make their coffee. Like, and I'm a coffee drinker. I should have bought some while I was there. I drink coffee every single day, if not every other day. To where now, like, I make my coffee at home so I can cut back on buying so much when I'm out. But, you know, I think it was nice, you know, to just see the guys all meet up to do something with no drama and just like something that is touching upon the culture of the country that you're in. Because I feel like most of this whole time it's just been drama, like, but like, yeah, let's educate people on like what's going on in this country. Like, that's what I'm here for, so that, you know, next time I want to go to Rwanda, I can say, oh, these people did that, let me go and do that. You know what I'm saying? So the other guys, Onoja, Timony, and Zubi, they went to like a milk tasting. I don't really remember what it was called. I don't drink milk, period. I haven't had milk in over a decade. Like, just like milk, I don't even eat cereal. Like, that's how much I'm disconnected from milk. I mean, like, sometimes I'll have it in my coffee, but just like regular milk or like milk and cereal, that's just not me. So Onoja was not really a fan of the milk farm or whatever it was called. Zubi was gulping the milk down. I think Timony was just happy to experience something new. But again, like, it was just good to see all the guys get together with no drama for once. But yeah, those are my thoughts on episode 1 and 2. But like, I just feel like this is basically Real Housewives of Lagos, like, boys edition. Like, this is, some of it does, and I even went on TikTok and I saw that a couple people were saying stuff, but like, some of it does seem too scripted, because it's like, why is it so early in the boys trip? The first 2 episodes is like drama. Like, is this Love and Hip Hop? Is this Real Housewives of Lagos? Is this like what you're trying to sell? What you're trying to like get us to be hooked to your show and sell off a drama? Like, I don't know. I just feel like, I hope that this is the end of all the dramatic saga, but like, at least let episode 3 and 4 be edifying. Let's learn something new. You know, they're going to Morocco. I've always wanted to go to Morocco, by the way, so I'm excited for that, just to like see what they end up getting into so I can mark it down for my own travel plans. But yeah, like, I'm kind of over the drama, and I feel like as grown men, like, some of y'all in your 30s and 40s, like, why are y'all behaving like small boys? What's going on? Like, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. Some of you are married, like, get it together. Like, you have kids, like, be some sort of example. Like, stop behaving like children on the internet. And honestly, like, I feel like Timony has been, even though like he be saying he's just been throwing shade the whole trip. I feel like that may genuinely just be his personality. I don't even think that part is scripted. I think he's just a shady person. But you know, like, he's been the one that's just been for the vibes. Like him, Onaja, like, I feel like they just been here for the vibes. They're not really here for the drama. They're just there to have a good time. Like, Zubi may be a little, like I said in the beginning, Zubi be giving me uncle vibes. He may be a little uncle-y and stuck in his ways and not trying to like really like try anything new. But I feel like he's come around. Like, in the first couple of episodes, he's come around. I think Alistair has been good vibes as well. I don't really see anything wrong with Alistair. Ebuka is obviously the host, so he's been out of the drama for the most part. But the only person is Jimmy. Like, this is gonna sound bad, but I want Jimmy to have to go do a work project and just tell the guys he has to leave the trip early. Like, seriously, like, I think like something needs to come up. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. Like, Jimmy, go home. Go home with your bad energy and your bad attitude. Like, I'm really over you in this entire show. But we'll see what episode 3 and 4 holds. You know, maybe the drama will be focused on the other guys, because Jimmy just gives attention seeker. Like, you look like a crybaby who wants to be the star. Like, this, again, like I said, this is not the Jimmy show. This is the Ebuka show. Ebuka and friends, and you are the friend, okay? So calm down and stop trying to do how stars do. Like, boy, relax. So one thing I forgot to mention is that this whole entire show, it seems like Jimmy is here on this show to sell himself. Like, every time he's in the confessionals, he's using his presenter voice. So, but I feel like if you came on this show to sell yourself, then sell yourself. But all this drama is not going to help you sell. Because if I'm a brand and I like see you doing all this rubbish, I'm going to be like, no, I don't want to book him. He seems too problematic. But like my friend said, it seems like Jimmy is on this show to sell himself because he wants people to book him as a TV presenter. Cool. That's my thoughts and opinions on episode 1 and 2. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. And if I really like episode 3 and 4, you'll see me next week reviewing 3 and 4. You know, I don't know yet because a lot of films have come out this week on Netflix and Prime. But we'll see, you know. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video. Let me know what y'all think. I want to know what y'all think in the comments, And I will see you guys next week for my next video.